I'm thinking about doing my ever first countdown for this channel on E3 and the trailers that I really liked, the projects I'm really looking forward to, because suffice to say there was a lot of good stuff going on. There was a lot of bad stuff going on, and that's worth talking about too. But in general, I'm actually kind of excited for gaming now. And this is something that isn't common, especially when in years past, Nintendo, of all people, have been the leaders at these conferences, and that just shouldn't be happening. I'm sorry, Nintendo fanboys, but they aren't the kind of game company that necessarily should be pushing the boundaries. There's been one title, though, that's been extremely interesting, and that is Metroid Prime Federation Force. In terms of a Metroid game, it's an odd little game. It's a 4-player co-op game where you play as Federation troopers, all with different colored visors, and going around fighting different bosses or playing a game of mech soccer. And even in terms of spin-offs, it's quite the departure. The graphic style looks like Wind Waker's polygonal cousin. The designs look absolutely clunky. But you know what? I'm actually looking forward to this game for the very reasons that most fans aren't looking forward to this game. You know, when it comes to the style, yes, it's done in chibi style. Yes, it looks extremely bad in the 3DS graphics. But it has a sense of charm to it that I'm actually really looking forward to. If there's one title that I actually would pick up for the 3DS, it would be this because, well, it's exactly what I've wanted. A new Metroid-style game that uses the same mechanics in a new way. You know, there have been versus modes in previous Metroid games, but never 4-player co-op modes, and this looks like a perfect time to employ that, especially given that you don't play as Samus. And this is a sticking point that I understand will really rile up people who like her, and trust me, I like her fine. But much like Halo introduced someone other than Master Chief for a game, and it was a compelling attempt, I really do think that playing as a Federation trooper is exactly the kind of thing that needs to happen to the Metroid Prime trilogy. After all, let's look at what Nintendo has done recently with the character of Samus herself. We had Other M based off of a extremely vague anime that no one in the United States had heard about, and that absolutely sucked ass because it turned Samus into a little bitch. We had Super Smash Bros. Universe, which somehow did like the idea of including a Bayonetta character, so they just turned Samus into one, foregoing her rather practical design of lower heels and actually proportional body with a Barbie grown-up Bayonetta-style high-heeled hooker with giant breasts, and somehow just trying to pass it off by saying that they had rocket heels in her boots. Frankly, I'm glad on this front that Samus has been excluded from this game, because, frankly, I think they should retire the character entirely. We have our Prime Trilogy. Those who have the 2D games have their 2D games. We don't need any more Samus to ruin what we already have. But there's also another really good reason why I don't think Samus would be a good character to play as, especially in a 4-player co-op game, because Federation troopers are highly underpowered compared to Samus. If we're talking a communicative effort, that is 4 players trying to take on a single boss, or 4 players getting in mechs and pushing around a ball into goals, if we all played as Samus, well, we all have super missiles and freeze missiles and grappling hooks and all that sort of stuff, and we would really just wipe bosses out on our own. And while I do enjoy the single player experience, and that's fine, For 4-player co-op, having players who can't fire off these high-tech weapons and instead maybe are stuck with a blaster and maybe a charge beam, that's a brilliant idea, because then the lack of what you have in weapons is made up in your need to communicate with the other players and actually strategize with them. It's a brilliant move on Nintendo's part, and just things that I've seen, from the petition to cancel this game to people who are downvoting every single YouTube video Nintendo has put up this entire E3, is fucking horseshit. I understand if you're mad, fans, but really, you don't like a game, so you're going to act like douches about it? Come on. If you don't like a game, then be like you did when Other M came out. Don't buy it, talk about why the game is bad, and that's it. Don't use these guerrilla-style tactics to try and trample something that you don't like. And I will sort of temper this by saying, in the past I've supported such tactics, but to products that were actually disingenuous. If a game's only crime is being different, then you don't have my sympathies. As it stands, this looks like a great entry in the Prime series, and I look forward to it myself. To everyone who is being an asshat about it, well, fuck you. To everyone else, though, this has been Robert Stoll, Stoll Review, wishing you all a nice day.